Good morning, Jodi. How are you?
Good. How are you, Susan?
Excellent. Little smoky here today in central Alberta.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. This is Jodi Schultz from the Source Mortgage Center. They are a Dominion lending franchise here in central Alberta. And today, Jodi, we were going to talk about the difference between fixed and variable rate mortgages. Can you share with us what the difference is?
Yeah, for sure, Susan. And I think especially first-time buyers that haven't had mortgages before seem to just be a little bit confused. Like this isn't something that's sort of mainstream knowledge sometimes.
True.
So a fixed interest rate is one by the word itself is fixed. So it does not change. Whatever the rate is that you have is how your mortgage payments are calculated. And you will expect that exact same mortgage payment for the entire term of your mortgage. You can have different terms of fixed rate mortgages, anywhere from 1 year all the way up to 10 years. The most standard being a 5-year fixed rate is the standard. Whereas by variable interest rates are variable, they can change. Variable interest rates do follow the Bank of Canada prime lending rate, and that can fluctuate. They have 8 announcements a year where they meet and decide if they're going to increase or decrease their prime lending rate. And then as a result, if you're on a variable interest rate, your rate will change depending on what that announcement is. The variable rates are always offered at a discount from prime, or a bonus from prime. So when someone says something like prime -1, that means your interest rate will always be 1% lower than whatever the Bank of Canada's prime lending rate is. So what's important to kind of know, Susan, is that the two obviously are different, but they don't both follow the Bank of Canada announcement. So variable interest rates follow the Bank of Canada prime rate, like I just explained, which there's 8 announcements a year, whereas the fixed interest rates actually follow more the bond market. So even though we've been seeing in the last few months that variable interest rates, for example, have remained stagnant, the fixed interest rates actually have dropped a little bit. So it's important for people to understand that just because you haven't heard announcements of rates going down, that's generally that variable Bank of Canada. That doesn't mean that there hasn't been fluctuation in fixed rates. And so to give you an idea, fixed rates right now are actually hovering in and around 4.5%, if not in some cases lower. So it has substantially improved from what we saw, say, October, November of 2022.
Even April,
even
we last
April,
talked about rates. Yeah.
right. Whereas the variable, we've just been seeing up and up, and then now some stagnant, no movement. So just important for borrowers to know, and, what option to choose is really going to depend on their particular situation, their tolerance for risk, and also how comfortable they are, with rates increasing, decreasing, and also what their intentions are for the home. Somebody that, is planning to stay there long term, who's very budget conscious, probably the fixed rate would be a better option for them. Someone who knows they may sell in a shorter term, or may look to refinance in a shorter term, or wants to take advantage of rates when they drop, we may look at a variable product or a shorter term fix. And that's why make sure when you're getting a mortgage with anybody, you consult a professional, whether that's your bank or a mortgage broker, just to make sure that you've gone through all the options and it's right for your situation.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. That was a great explanation.
Oh, good.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's not always something easy to understand. And then prime plus and prime minus, like in my experience, when I was younger and had my first home, it was definitely prime plus, and it was just trying to get that plus number as little as possible. But we are seeing negative numbers today, so that's
yeah. Most variable mortgages right now are negative, with the exception of HELOC products. So home equity lines of credit are still in that prime plus area. Usually somewhere between prime plus a half and prime plus 1 would be your standard on a home equity line of credit, or really any line of credit is generally prime plus. But the actual mortgage, like, the variable rate mortgages tend to be prime minus.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time today, Jodi, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, sounds great, Susan. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.